Welcome to Midlakes Dive, Parent Orientation. This is a training for parents, families to know what to expect on our Midlakes Dive season. Why do we have our kids dive? Sportive dive isn't just fun. It actually increases and develops a lot of leadership qualities too. Personal confidence, resilience, perseverance, accepting feedback, and so much more. What should you expect as a dive parent this season? We want to see your support and encouragement for your athlete, not criticism and feedback. That's for the coaches to do. It'd be great if you could learn a little bit about your athlete's sport so you can share with them their thoughts and be excited for them when they do well. It's important to get safe sport training. This is important for every parent and athlete, a coach, parent rep, for bullying prevention and inappropriate contact awareness. We want applause for every athlete. Everybody's doing a great job out there. And volunteering at dive meets. Every family should be volunteering at least a couple meets, and training's available on our website. What we'll cover today is a little bit about Midlakes Dive, our league, and also our connection with AAU for insurance. Review dive basics. This is great for whether you're a returning family or a new family. Make sure you understand what you're looking at when your diver's out there. We'll review briefly the meet format and volunteering opportunities. And training for judges and scorers will be available on our Midlakes website, along with more resources. We'll discuss the calendar, some key dates, the schedule. At any time during this presentation, if you'd like to pause to review the materials, we won't be covering every slide in detail. Our goals at Midlake Diving are safety, skills, and fun. Midlakes Dive League is a novice league, and we want to introduce young people to and encourage their enjoyment of diving while we're in a safe and positive environment. This season, we have 6 teams competing, and we'll have 5 meets, so everybody gets to meet against the other teams. If you know divers or athletes who would like to dive, who belong to other Midlakes clubs that don't have a team, they may be able to join a dive team at a different Midlakes club, one that is open and accepting additional teammates. AAU is the Amateur Athletic Union, and Midlakes purchases insurance from AAU as an extra level of excess liability, and this is required by our Midlakes insurance. Part of this is that every single diver must also purchase a youth athlete membership at AAU, and it must include the extended coverage, the AB coverage. Usually parents purchase this and provide the information to the parent reps or coaches. The AAU excess insurance is only valid as long as every single diver in our league has it. If you don't have your AAU membership for your diver yet, then please get it ASAP. Again, remember to purchase the extended coverage. It's only an extra $2, but this critical element allows us to practice and compete at our Midlakes pools instead of having to go to a registered AAU facility. Every diver must have the coverage before the first practice. So what is your diver doing out there on the diving board? If you are familiar with diving, this will just be a quick refresher. If you're new, you might learn something. In diving, we have 5 dive groups. There are forward dives, backward dives, reverses, inwards, and twist types of dives. Most dives can be competed in a variety of positions: the tuck position, pike position, and straight position. And our twist dives are usually done in the free position. You'll also hear mentioned degree of difficulty, or DD. Each dive is scored at a meet, and that score is multiplied by the degree of difficulty. The more complex the dive, the higher the degree of difficulty multiplier. For instance, a forward dive is considered easiest in the tuck position with a multiplier of 1.2 dd. In pike, it's at 1.3 dd, and in straight position, it's 1.4 dd. Back dives are slightly more difficult with increasing levels of complexity. As we get through the diving basics, you'll often hear referred to the three parts of the dive. The first is the approach and hurdle. Here's a somewhat dated but still valuable illustration of a forward approach and takeoff or hurdle. The diver moves their arms as they stride down the diving board, lifting their knee and swinging their arms up and around to create power before dropping back to the board for a terrific takeoff. The approach and hurdle is really quite a critical element of the dive. The more power and height that you can generate will give the diver more time in the air to perfect their position and execute somersaults and twists. A forward-facing dive, the Midlakes standard is a three-step hurdle. During training, you may see a standing hurdle or one-step hurdle as the divers are learning. Three-step hurdle will give full credit for scoring. A quality backward-facing dive is the diver stands at the edge of the board looking back toward the ladder and starts with a steady, stable position. Then they drop and lift their heels off. And by generating momentum and power with an arm circle, they'll get more power and height into the dive. Here's another visual aid showing the optimal forward hurdle position. The second part of the dive is the flight. This is what the diver does while they're in the air. Dive positions include, as we mentioned before, straight, pike, and tuck, and also free position for twists. In the straight position, the diver's body should be straight, not showing any breaks or bends in legs or hips. In pike position, the diver attempts to fold in half as best they can. They'll usually grab the back of their calves in an excellent pike or reach for their toes, and then end with a straight entry. In tuck position, divers tuck their knees to their chest, grab around the shins, and then extend back to a straight entry. While in the air, they may execute a certain number of somersaults, for instance, a 1 somersault or 1.5, even a double. We usually don't see more than a double in Midlakes. And then they will often add twists, a half twist or a full twist as they gain experience and complexity in their diving. Here's another one of our lovely dated illustrations from the for the dive positions. The third part of the dive is the entry, which is when the diver enters the water. There are several components to a quality entry. The first is completion. Has the diver finished the somersaults, twists, and the position of while in the air and return to a straight position? There'll be deductions if they are still in a slight tuck or pike position as they enter, or still rotated or twisted. Another element of entry is the arm position. Arms should always be directed toward the water with the exception of jumps, which are a skill. For a head first dive, arms are straight next to the ears with their hands in a hand lock. For feet first entry, the arms should be straight, pointed down, and locked to the sides of the body. Another element of a quality entry is location. The diver should enter the water fairly close to the board, but at a still safe distance. It's not swim team. We're not aiming to get out. They should go up and then down, not launching out from the board. And again, you've probably heard this if you watch any Olympic diving, and you'll hear it from judging. Splash. The less splash, the better. This means the diver has gotten to a nice vertical position with a nice straight body, and the less splash should score better. Dive meets. If you've been to a dive meet before, you're familiar with this. For our new parents, we'll just go over this briefly, and we'll have more details in a minute. Dive meets are not like swim meets. Dive meets are quiet, allowing the divers to focus as they consider their dive from the diving board. No yelling and screaming like at the swim meets. And the applause is held until after the diver comes up for their breath. After the dive is completed, the judges will score it. And meanwhile, families can socialize, but again, quietly so that the divers can focus. Here's the basic outline for a regular meet. Divers check in and warm up. Volunteers check in and get set up. The dive meet begins at 5 p.m. typically with our first competition group, usually starting with the younger divers. And then each competition performs. And as they complete their round of competition, the next competition group warms up and the scoring table tabulates results and prepares the awards. And that continues with each competition group until the meet is done. Volunteering. We need you. The home team volunteers, the home team provides the following volunteers: one announcer, 3 scorekeepers, sometimes an awards person, although the scorekeepers can often do the awards, 1 meet referee, and 3 judges. And teams often select a second set of judges to take over halfway through the meet. That gives new dive parents a chance to judge the younger divers, and then maybe more experienced or seasoned judges will judge older divers. So there may be 3 more judges for the second half. The away team provides 2 judges, and again may also provide 2 more judges for the second half. Plenty of volunteering opportunities, and our dive meets cannot run without volunteers, so we do require every family to volunteer. The home team provides the award ribbons for 1st through 6th places. The competition groupings are by age, by gender, and level. Our age groups in Midlakes are 8 and under, 10 and under, 12 and under, 14 and under, and the 15 and over. The diver's age is based on how old they are on June 15. We also separate competition groups by gender: girls against girls and boys against boys. And finally, by level. In addition to separation by the age group and the gender, we also have level A and B. Everybody starts as a B diver, and most of our divers in the lakes are B divers. In order to attain the status of an A diver, a diver must have won 2 meets in their age group in a season, or won dive championships from the previous season, or already an A diver from the previous season without changing age. And a coach may also designate an A diver for maybe a club diver who does year-round club diving or has competed at state. The A divers compete against other A divers and B against B. And often we'll find, especially early in the season, there'll only be 1 A diver in a particular age group. For instance, the 10 and under boys A may have only 1 A diver, so that diver will automatically win 1st place because he had no competition. The older divers will perform more dives in a meet than the younger divers. And that's based on their ability to learn and attain new dives through the season. Here's a more detailed look at the meet. There are several pages here, and you may pause each to read if you'd like more details. This is valuable for new families. Experienced families will already know this. And that brings us to spectating. What is expected? Everybody should be paying attention to every dive and applauding every diver. These kids are working so hard and really preparing, working on their mental focus, achieving more and more complexity as the season progresses. And it's so great to reward each one. So don't just applaud your own diver, please applaud every single diver out there. Let's make this a really fun and supportive season. If you have questions about any part of this presentation or anything related to Midlakes diving, you might find additional resources on our website. You can also contact your team's dive coach or parent rep, and we're always happy to hear from you at midlakesdiving@gmail.com.
Here are the key dates for this summer's dive season. We begin the season on the third Saturday of June with the coaches and parent reps kickoff meeting. Then official practices for Midlakes Dive may begin. We have several meets this season on a variety of Mondays and Wednesdays. This way, meets don't conflict with swim team meets, which are typically Tuesdays and Thursdays. We wrap up our season with dive champs in the last weekend of July. We have the 8 and unders and 10 and unders at junior champs, and then 12 and unders, 14 and unders, and 15 and overs at senior champs. Here's the detailed meet schedule. You can pause the video and take notes of your team's meet schedule, or you can just check in with your coach and parent rep for more details. Our dive championships are the last weekend of July. All divers are invited to come to champs. In order to compete at champs, a diver must have competed in 2 regular season meets. We do have medals and ribbons awarded at the event. And Dive Champs is the culmination of the season, and we hope to see all of our divers there.
Congratulations, this orientation is complete. Please enjoy the season, have a great time, and we appreciate your support and your volunteering. This presentation is followed by dive demonstrations, so you can see more about what the dives look like and even show it to your kids so they can see a different progression of dives and some really cool stuff.